You're listening to Myers-Briggs Question Corner with Edythe Richards.
Today's question comes from a lady named Caroline. How can I work effectively with my ENTP coworker? I'm a hardworking employee on a large team in a corporate office. I get along well with all of my coworkers except one who's a Myers-Briggs ENTP. I'm now on a temporary project with this person where we will have to work closely together for the next several months. The two main issues that I have are he doesn't complete tasks by the deadline and then comes up with excuses for not doing so. And second, he seems to enjoy arguing with me about the content, structure, and grammar of my work. I am a writer who prides herself on accuracy and attention to detail. His expertise and training is not in writing, and his assessments of my work are wrong most of the time. We are equals in terms of positions, and though I'm not sure if this is relevant, I'm a woman and my coworker is a man. Any insight the Myers-Briggs may be able to shed on this difficult situation is much appreciated. So let me start by saying that in the #MeToo era, it may be more challenging than ever before to interact with coworkers from the opposite sex. Because I personally don't have enough information to address this question from a gender perspective, and that really isn't my area of expertise after all, and this podcast series focuses on the Myers-Briggs, I'm going to answer this question from a personality type Myers-Briggs perspective. I'll first talk about some of the hallmarks of the ENTP personality type, then discuss strategies for other personality types to best engage with ENTPs in order to maximize their working relationships. Finally, I'm going to end with some tips for my ENTP listeners for growth and development. ENTPs like change, and they like anything new. They are very sure of their inspiration and ideas. So if they find difficulties along the way, including naysayers, these are all just challenges to overcome. And challenges are stimulating for ENTP types. I would venture to say that their single greatest contribution is their creative mind. It's no surprise that many ENTPs are entrepreneurs, as they are great at getting people to rally around their ideas and generate enthusiasm. And they view their work as one exciting challenge after another in this game called life. So they may not be committed to a project if a better deal comes along. The worst thing, though, for an ENTP is to be bogged down by routine or controlled by someone else. ENTPs do tend to neglect routine things, and lack of follow-through is one of the weaknesses of this type. They may lose interest in projects once the novelty has worn off, and most ENTPs have probably received feedback about being irresponsible or undependable. They also tend to have a knack for interrupting others and not giving their full attention, or give off a vibe of pretending to listen when they're really thinking about other things. They also enjoy a good debate, but in their fascination of the debate itself, they may come across as impersonal, argumentative, or even rude to others. ENTPs are going to work best in environments that are casual but exciting with limited rules and restrictions, with plenty of opportunities to meet influential people, places that provide them recognition and compensation for their creativity and expertise, and organizations that have a support staff where they can delegate follow-through work and detailed management of tasks. If you, like Caroline, need some pointers for working with an ENTP, here are 4 tips for communicating effectively. First, give them a deadline, but not a timeline. ENTPs are primarily driven by their dominant function, extroverted intuition. This means they're energized by what's going on in the external world of possibilities, ideas, and theories. They'll do their best when they're allowed to think outside the box, giving them the opportunity to define how and what they need to do in order to reach a particular goal. Along these lines, give them some latitude and patience when they go into brainstorming mode. Sometimes this is just their way of processing information. Because they are process rather than goal-oriented, they may need more time than others to analyze and integrate information. Second, use mind maps, flowcharts, graphical or linear representations may help when presenting information to ENTPs. Because of their internal focus on analyzing and evaluating ideas, ENTPs will enjoy hearing how and why things work the way that they do, if it's a project or process that interests them. In Caroline's case, she's a subject matter expert in writing and communications, and she needs to demonstrate her expertise using logic and reason in order to convince her ENTP coworker that his assessment isn't accurate. Third, be prepared for debate. Although ENTPs have a great sense of humor and are laid back and easy to talk to, they may come across as argumentative. ENTPs love the thrill of debate and may or may not be interested in the topic being discussed. The less mature the ENTP, the more they'll be compelled to debate anything and everything, even if they can't support their own viewpoint, and at the expense of personal or working relationships. Know that the ENTP probably isn't trying to attack or demean others by doing this. They just love to have their wit tested and see on-the-spot debate as a fun mental challenge. Fourth, now this is my own preferred approach for working with ENTP, and it comes from experience. Be straightforward. Don't play their game because they will win. Don't pull rank because they'll just do something subversive to get back at you and put you in your place. And don't apologize because they'll see that as undermining yourself. Now, if you are an ENTP, here are a few strategies for development. First, even if you can anticipate what others will say, don't talk over them. Remember that not everyone is comfortable with critiquing and debating ideas. In fact, some people will see this approach as rude or antagonistic. Check in with others and balance critique with positive feedback. Though it may not be logical or expedient to you, showing appreciation for others and offering encouragement go a long way in creating and maintaining a good work environment. Second, don't overlook essential facts and details. When details and deadlines pile up, resist the urge to run away to a new idea or deal only with part of the situation. Don't convince yourself the project is finished. This undermines your own competency. And finally, don't take on more projects than you can realistically finish. Your tendency to change perspective may be a barrier to others who need closure. Be responsible with your deadlines and commitments, and don't make promises you can't keep. ENTPs, like all other Myers-Briggs types, have their strengths and challenges. They do require a fair amount of autonomy in their work, and if given the freedom to work their own way, they'll come up with the most ingenious but efficient solutions, and they'll have loads of fun doing it and presenting their findings. Expect them to critique, question, and even debate you. Be candid with them and tell them what you expect using logic to back up your claims. Give them the opportunity to share their creative insights and let them joke around with you if you're comfortable doing so. I hope this provides some insight into working effectively with your ENTP coworker, Caroline. Many thanks for the question.
Thanks for listening to this episode. If you'd like to hear more, or you'd like to submit a question yourself, then you can find us at www.atopcareer.com. Until next time. MBTI and Myers-Briggs are registered trademarks of the MBTI Trust.